Hello and welcome to another edition of Menopause with Joe and Nana.
Should I pick my own cycle or should I pick the heavy bleeding?
Oh well, c'est la
Mm.
vie. It's
So,
life.
so
It's
decisions.
it's part of growing up, I suppose. So we've got to accept it. I was going to say, and I've forgotten what I want to say. That's my brain fog coming
What
now.
we'll be talking about.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah,
Mm.
it's interesting because it happens to everyone, differently. We experience it in different ways. And we're talking about hot flushes, hot flashes. It is the same, just to highlight to those who are watching us. I think this is a terminology. Americans call it hot flashes, and
Yeah.
other people, the rest of the world, call it hot flushes. So, but it's essentially the same thing. So don't get confused by what we're saying. It's still the that sensation of it that runs through your body. I don't know, Nana, do you have any questions for Modupe in terms of because I mean she mentioned briefly about how she's coped, but do you want to maybe ask her a few more questions?
Um, how did you manage? How did you manage the hot flashes and the night sweats?
I just deal with it.
Mm.
Some people said flaxseed seed help. I tried that. I put the flaxseed seed on my salad. I take the pill, the capsule. I didn't see any difference. So I just go with fans. Everywhere I am, I have my fan in my office. If there's a fan in front of me. So the fan is helping. Thank God for the small fans that we carry around now.
Around.
That is really helping. But in the state I'm in Texas, and where is a very hot place. Right now, we're in the 3 digits.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it's when I get into a party, you'll see me as soon as I finish, making up, and I'm already sweating.
I'm sweating.
My husband told me, oh, because you're using warm water, because I don't like using cold water. He said, try to start using cold water. I'm doing that now, but
That's
it's
true.
not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the cold water. I mean, I told him, I said, it's not. It's just something from the inside, and it just comes. Sometimes I'm fine. And all of a sudden, I just starts having that hot flash. I mean, I just start sweating. And that's why I don't know how to deal with that, because, there's nothing wrong with me. The condition of maybe the room is fine, but for me, it's hot.
Did you ever think of using HRT products or anything like that?
I was expecting you to ask that question.
Mhm.
I looked into it because of all the side effects. I didn't. I'm just afraid to use it. I have friends that use it, but just the fear of that cancer, the word cancer, just scared me. So no, but all my friends that are on it, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just me. I just I just don't like taking medication. That's number one. If it's not necessary. And they tell you have to weigh the risk to to the benefit. To me, the benefit might be great, but for me, I don't think it is. So I just don't. My friends told me, oh, they're taking it because some of them said they're dry for dryness. I'm also dry, but there's other things that you can use, like the
Other things
lubricants.
that you can use for
That
that.
the lubricants. So I don't see a need to go on it, but some people do. So that's what we're saying. It depends on how bad it is for you. In that area, I'm fine. The only part I'm really struggling with is the sweat, is the hot flash. Yeah.
I
So in
think
that other area, no, I'm not.
we could probably talk about that. There is a new tablets available, especially in America. I think it's new in the UK. It's not yet approved in the UK yet. So maybe in another session we can probably talk about.
And I think Bukky's got her story about, because she's HRT. So,
Yes.
but before we talk about before she shares her experience, perhaps we just I'll get a little teaser from Bukky. Did you go through hot flushes at all? Did you experience it at all?
100% yes. And I don't know if you want me to start my session now because I'm ready.
No, just I want to hear whether you actually experienced that. And then we will come back and talk about your before and after.
Yes.
HRT. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. And that's why I
Okay.
went into the HRT. But yeah,
All right. And
I'll
just
tell
to,
you.
yeah, and that way, actually, I can't wait to hear that story, really. And just to say, for those who are listening to Modupe about, our fears, everyone's got, we're all different. We all have our different concerns. But, I think what is important is that we are able to carry on living well. So if your symptoms are really, really, debilitating, putting you down, you're not able to do anything. I think it's just better to have a chat with a healthcare professional. And if HRT is recommended for you, to just discuss the pros and the cons of it, the benefits and the risks, and make your decision, because there isn't any medicine that is without its own risks. But overall, I think we've moved forward a lot since HRT use came into HRT came into use, and I think there's a lot more better safety profile now. So don't be put off by what Modupe said. That's her own concern, but please just explore the options that are there for you. I mean, I don't use anything yet, and Nana does not use anything
I
either.
don't use anything because I haven't got those symptoms. My
Some-
symptoms are not severe, they're mild. But then,
Yeah.
Josephine, you did mention in the other episode that you were getting hot flashes and night sweats. How did you
Yes.
deal, if you can remind us, how did you deal with them?
So what I did was, I think I mentioned something somebody had said to me, some years before then, and she mentioned somebody who was going through menopause and hot flushes, and that what they did when they were sleeping at night was to put one of their feet out of the duvet and one under, and that helped to balance, that temperature. And I started to feel that, I actually tried it, one leg out and one leg under the duvet, and that helped to regulate the temperature. I think maybe, again, I don't live in a very hot environment, so maybe that helped as well, because most of the year it's cold, and when it is hot, that is when. But even when it's cold, you mean cold for everybody? That's when it is just okay
For you?
for you, because I'm feeling very, very hot. And this heat comes from inside, like Modupe was saying, comes from inside you. So it's just like a fire running through you. And so it's for the nighttime, put the fan on, make sure you're wearing light clothing. If you can, just go without, as in your birth suit. If
Just
it's possible.
Joe, just to talk about that heat that comes from inside of you. So there was just one, just reminded me of one time. It was
Yeah.
winter, it was cold, it was bitterly cold, and I was going from the office to the station and I was shivering. And then all of a sudden I had this God-given heat that just came from inside me and warmed me up. And it
Yes.
was yes.
Yes.
That was one time I was
Yes.
I needed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
that
the
came
thing.
in.
It just comes. It just comes from
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It
Well,
can come in
just
there as a good time if you're living in a cold climate, but
Yeah.
when it's a hot climate, it's very, very challenging. And yeah, I don't know how much time we've already spent on recording. And sometimes, like when I'm at work, I've had instances where you just feel that heat, and like, oh gosh, you are standing in front of so many people talking, and this heat's coming up. In some cases, I've had to just say, excuse me, I need to get something. We'll just walk out, get
you.
some air before going back, but just doing it discreetly, because I kind of start explaining or just wear light clothing, or maybe um have layers on so you can take things off and put them back on as and when. So that's how I've been able. I think one of the things that's also helped me is just being calm. Once you know that this thing coming up, try and keep calm, because if you start to get agitated and anxious, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, in a meeting and you're sweating. Uh, you know, you say you can run it. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
You just see that sweat comes and like so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing a full medical check. So one of the things I needed to do was to go on the treadmill so they could test
Ah,
my heart. And then all of a sudden, this hot flush came. My goodness, I had to stop. I had to quit. I had to just, get off. So yeah, it
Yeah.
comes like that.
it does.
So I think maybe we'll just end this session here, and please join us straight back for the next episode where Bukky will talk about her experience of hot flushes and other symptoms, and then how she's feeling now since she started to use something. All right, so
Straight
yeah,
back.
straight back.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.